No bail to Aryan Khan in the Cruise drug bust case. Days after it reserved the order, the Mumbai Sessions Court denied bail to Shah Rukh Khan's son. Aryan will continue to remain in jail at least until tomorrow when his judicial custody ends. The 23-year-old star kid has been in Arthur Road jail since October 8th. Meanwhile, Aryan's lawyers will move the Bombay High Court against the Sessions Court order. It's been 18 days since Aryan has been in custody of law enforcement agencies. He's been in Mumbai's Arthur Road jail since October 8th. A total of 7 court hearings have taken place between the 23-year-old's arrest and today.
You'll have to wait for the order now.
So, will you apply for in the High Court?
Once we read the order, we'll decide.
So, will you apply in the High Court right now?
Once we read the order, we will decide. We haven't yet received the order.
What do you think? What was the reason that the bail was rejected?
Wait for a few minutes, you'll get the order.
See, unfortunately, it's an operative part which is passed just now. So we are waiting for the complete order to come in hand.
So will you move to the High Court? And
definitely, we all will be moving to the High Court because that is a remedy available to us right now. But fortunately, if as early as possible, once we get the order in hand, then only we will be able to move to the High Court.
It's a big disappointment.
It's definitely a big disappointed appointment because we were expecting a positive thing today.
PB is saying that they had also counselled your son Aryan, and they have promised that they will be good citizens, they will do some social service and all the reform aspect.
Absolutely, reform is necessary for anybody, one and all. They can be a president to the whole community all over. If they are doing it, they are good. I mean, it's a social thing. Even I would like to advocate the same thing. If you reform, why not? It's a very good thing. But the main thing is the justice has to be done first. Young kids should not be confined for such a long extent. You just see what are you gaining and what are you losing. If you evaluate, the pros and cons are too much. If you are confining somebody to a prison and then you're trying to educate, I mean, I really don't forecast the advantages. I mean, the advantages are less, disadvantages are more. So if you weigh the pros and cons, I don't buy the story.
Well, I am really disappointed at the verdict, although it's a judicial order which needs to be respected by being an officer of the court myself. But I must tell you that if it were not Aryan, if it were some other ordinary person, perhaps he would not have been kept in custody for these facts and these accusations for as long as 17 days. He has been in custody for 17 days, and yet the court has thought that it would serve the interest of justice by keeping him behind. Law ordinarily of bail, in spite of stringent provisions of NDPS Act in these facts of the case, would not want a person to be kept in custody by way of punishment.
Mustafa Sheikh and Vidya with us are tracking the story on ground. Mustafa, let me come to you first. Take us through all the latest, the kind of reactions we've been hearing. Some of the lawyers post that verdict, and a big shock for everyone that bail has still been denied. What is the reasoning really that's been put forward for this?
Well, yes, the defense lawyers are saying that in the routine process, the consumption quantity, these accused should have been granted bail by the special NDPS court, but that has not been the case. They are shying away from saying what are the exact reasons for it. But yes, the detailed order will have some mention of the criminal conspiracy, which the NCB had mentioned, the WhatsApp chat with the NCB had mentioned, and how they are trying to unearth this entire 20 people accused conspiracy in which they were going to have a drug party on the cruise. So these are the arguments which were made, and the defense lawyers are saying they should have gotten bail on. If you see and look at the grounds and the evidences which are on record, the bail should have been granted. But yes, the NCB had put a strong foot forward. They had got the additional Solicitor General to argue for them, and very strong arguments were made regarding WhatsApp chats, regarding the other conspiracy angle, the foreign nationals, the Aryan Khan's chat with a foreign national and taking help of MBA to trace that foreign national. So these grounds, it looks like, made a strong case for Aryan Khan's bail rejection. But yes, the further procedure would be to appeal in the High Court. All the lawyers whose bail were rejected are taking the operational copy, it's a certified copy, moving towards the High Court registry, which is just few meters away from here, and filing for a bail application. They will have to wait and see what are the arguments made out there and whether there Aryan Khan gets bail or not. Back to you.
All right, so Vidya, they're now going to go to the High Court. They're going to continue to, fight this and try and ensure he gets bail. What's the worst case scenario here now? What happens next?
Well, certainly the legal process will ensure that, Aryan Khan will have to be in prison for another couple of days. But certainly his lawyers are trying their best. Remember, the operative order was out, and with that they have approached the Bombay High Court. They have filed the petition there, and they are trying to see to it that the hearing of that plea is done as early as possible. And that's one of the reasons why their lawyers will also try to approach the NCB and tell them that, we have filed this petition and that you have to appear before the High Court tomorrow. So they are trying to do their best to see to it that this process gets completed today itself with the operative order, so that the detailed order can be dealt with in later when the High Court really is hearing this case. At that time the detailed order of this court can be used, but at this juncture with just the operative order they can actually approach the High Court, and that is what they have done. So in the detailed order, the court will really have to mention as to what the submissions of the prosecution were, what the defense had said, and what the judge himself had observed, and why he is rejecting that particular bail plea. All that has to be written. So certainly that's a lengthy argument that we had seen. So the detailed order will be pretty lengthy, and that's one of the reasons why it's taking a while. But the defense is trying to make sure that the High Court is dealt with immediately, and that this order will be with them also as soon as the court gives it to them.
Okay, thanks Vidya. Now, what does it mean that Aryan Khan stays in jail? The legal team can now move the higher court. That's, of course, one takeaway, as you also heard from our reporters. Judicial custody gets extended until Aryan gets bail. That's, of course, clear as well. These are a couple of the implications of the fact that he's been denied bail. That's the big news that we're tracking for you this afternoon as well. He has been in jail for 13 days and counting. His only hope now is if the Bombay High Court agrees to hear his bail plea. But even that road will not be easy. The court will break for Diwali vacation in the first week of November, excluding weekends when the court is on leave. There are just about 7 days for Aryan's bail hearing in the Bombay High Court. Remember, in the High Court, the arguments will begin again. The NCB will present its charges and Aryan's legal team will produce its defense. The bail hearing in Bombay High Court is likely to go on for at least a few days, which means Aryan is looking at an extended stay in jail. Ashutosh Srivastava joining us now. Ashutosh, now that the case is all set to go to the High Court, do you think that Aryan Khan is looking at an extended jail time? The Diwali vacation is just about 10 working days away.
Yes, considering the holidays which are to be commencing very soon for Diwali vacation for some 18 days, if the bail petition is heard before that, then only certain decisions can be taken by the High Court. Otherwise, then he will have to wait till the vacations are over. So obviously, as lawyers, the defense lawyers will always try to, get the matter listed so that it is heard at the earliest possible. But at the same time, the notice is also to be served to the NCB, to produce their, statements, objecting the bail. So even they may require some time to file their reply to the bail petition filed by Aryan. And accordingly, then the date can be finalized to have the final argument on the case, and then the court can decide. And after, even if the court decides in favor of Aryan, then the matter will again go to the trial court for, doing the formalities if it is granted. So this is how is the process. So obviously there are many holidays in between, and this is the coming week is the only week by which, if the matter is heard, to its end, then only a final decision can be taken. Otherwise, it may take a lot of time.
The NCB has cited WhatsApp chats of Aryan Khan as evidence of his involvement in the drug conspiracy. Are WhatsApp chats admissible as proof? We saw in the Ria case that a lot of WhatsApp chats came out, but nothing was proven.
Yes, WhatsApp chats are obviously admissible evidences. Even the Supreme Court had clarified that if you serve a copy through a WhatsApp and there is a double tick on the WhatsApp, then it is termed to be delivered. So this is always considered to be an evidence, but it depends as to what kind of evidence is available with the NCB and in what pretext, such WhatsApp chats were exchanged, and whether it was done by himself or by somebody else. I mean, there are a lot of questions and issues which will be raised in the further hearings. But I'm sure the High Court will, take its, wisdom to decide the matter in the right direction.
What are the options for Aryan Khan now?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. What are the options for Aryan in terms of, yes, they're going to now go and present the same case at the High Court, but is there anything else that he can do, appeal? Or is this just a scenario where he's going to have to wait it out?
No, see, what happens that the detailed order, which will be passed by this, the Sessions Court, considering the observations made by this Sessions Court, what are the, the faults or any, wrong findings or anything which is not, or which can be, challenged before High Court, all these findings will be challenged. And obviously the petition will carry all those errors, if any, made by the Sessions Court. And all these things can be, put it forward to the higher court. And the High Court will see as to, if there was any error in deciding this matter and for passing such order. Generally, it happens when such sections like, 20B in this case are inserted where the punishment is, much more. If it is like 10 years or more than 7 years or 20 years. In those cases, it is always seen that the Sessions Court, they do not consider it. And then the matter goes to the High Court, and the High Court has the wide powers, and jurisdiction to decide and to see if that petition deserves to be, granted or, the bail can be, given by the court. This is what happens.
So Aryan has now been in custody for, 17 days, jail for 13 days. The Supreme Court has said bail should be the rule, not the exception. Why is it not being followed in this case?
See, what happens when there is investigation going on? See, had the charge sheet been filed, because as of now, the charge sheet has not been filed. Now, for filing a charge sheet, it takes at least 90 days, which are given to the investigating agency to submit its report. Once this investigation is over and the charge sheet is filed, then obviously that rule applies, as you said. And the court may see if there is no prima facie evidence against an accused who has already been behind the bar for almost 3 months and the charge sheet has been filed. So in those cases, the court may feel that, since all the evidences are already on the record and witnesses have already been examined and their statements have been taken, recorded. So in those cases, if the accused are, released on bail, it is presumed that they will not, tamper the evidences, or they will not hamper the investigation, because the investigation by that time is over and the charge sheet is filed. Then it is as per the trial court, to initiate further proceedings in the matter. So then the trial will take place. So in those cases, there are chances that the bail may be granted. However, in these kind of cases, I think High Court is the right court to, take the right decision, considering all the evidences and everything, placed on record, to see whether that accused person, deserves to be granted on bail or not.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and for taking us through some of the implications of that decision today. Dashing all hopes of Aryan Khan, Mumbai Sessions Court rejected his bail petition. Shah Rukh's son has been lodged in Mumbai Arthur Road Jail since October 8th as inmate number 956. During his stay, Aryan was also counselled and he promised that he would engage in social service after his release. Here's how Aryan is spending time in jail.
Only 12 kilometers separate Arthur Road Jail from Bandstand in Bandra. But it's a world away for Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan. The 23-year-old has been in Mumbai's Arthur Road Jail since October 8, devoid of the comforts of his family's palatial house, Mannat. Lodged in a Spartan barrack in Mumbai's high-security prison, Aryan's life has undergone a sea change in the last 18 days since he was caught during the drug bust on a cruise ship. India Today has learned that when Aryan was in custody of the narcotics agency, he was counselled by NCB Zonal Director Sameer Wankade. Aryan, it is learned, was repentant during the counselling and promised that he would quit his drug habit and turn a new leaf. During counselling, Aryan apparently told Wankade that he would enter social service to help people from the weaker sections. The Narcotics Bureau, however, has been relentlessly opposing Aryan's bail plea. During the hearing on October 14, the Drug Probe Agency said Aryan's WhatsApp chat showed links to international drug peddlers. In fact, all those arrested were connected to a drug ring. Aryan's defense is that no drugs were found on him, and he was just an invitee to the party on the cruise ship. While the NCB says Aryan is part of a big drug network, many feel that he's paying the price of being a celebrity.
क्या है कि this is the price film industry has to pay for high profile. अब आप जब हाई प्रोफाइल होते हैं तो लोगों को आपको नीचे खींचने में, आप पे पत्थर फेंकने में, आप पे कीचड़ उछालने में एक मजा आता है. अगर आप कुछ भी नहीं है तो किसके पास टाइम है कि आपको पत्थर मारे.
Bureau Report, India Today.
And in a new twist, India Today has learnt that the NCB has found Aryan's chats with an emerging Bollywood actress in connection with the cruise drug party. Sources say drugs were topic of discussion in the chats. The NCB lawyer has submitted these chats in the Mumbai Session Court while arguments were being heard. Apart from the chats with the actress, Aryan's chats with some drug peddlers were also handed over to the court. While the NCB is relying heavily on the WhatsApp chats to present a case against Aryan, the Supreme Court observation on admissibility of phone chats as evidence may also crop up. In July this year, the top court held that there is no evidential value to WhatsApp chats since anything can be created or deleted on social media. The Narcotics Bureau has been alleging Aryan's link to a bigger drug conspiracy. The Drug Probe Agency has pointed to the role of an international drug syndicate and accused the superstar's son of being a regular customer of drugs. Here's a look at key charges by the Bureau against Aryan.
The Narcotics Bureau is fighting tooth and nail to oppose Aryan Khan's bail plea, and so far it has succeeded. The NCB's case against Aryan is based on what it claims are 5 strong charges. Charge 1. During the bail plea hearing, Additional Solicitor General Anil Singh said it was not a case related to one individual. He said there is an entire gang involved in drug abuse and procurement. The NCB says all the accused are connected to trafficking and the use of drugs. Charge 2. According to the NCB, Aryan Khan's WhatsApp chats showed links to international drug peddlers. It showed orders for bulk quantity, which meant it was not for personal consumption alone. Charge 3. The NCB claims Aryan Khan is a regular customer and has been taking drugs for the past 3 years. The argument that no drug was found on him did not hold. Its view in court was that drugs found with Arbaz merchant was meant for both Aryan and Arbaz. Charge 4. The Narcotics Bureau said the quantity of drugs found does not make the crime any lesser. Once a connection with drug peddlers is established, then the quantity is not imperative. Charge 5. The NCB says the probe is at a preliminary stage. There was a lot to be still probed. Aryan Khan should not be granted bail as he could tamper with evidence and influence witnesses. Aryan's lawyer says that all the claims being made by the NCB are based on assumptions. Their single-point argument is that he was not found with drugs, nor was he selling them. So will the NCB have its way, or will Shah Rukh Khan's son be let out on bail? That suspense continues till the 20th of October. Bureau Report, India Today.